We drove 10 hours to detail this car after it sat in a barn for 20 years and this building for 10 more to try and make it look brand new again. And the craziest part is it's a 62-year-old car with only 11,000 original miles. That's right, it's the last year of the C1 Corvette 1962 with only 11,000 miles on it.
Oh, that's 11,000 miles. So this has 11,282 miles on it. The interior's in great shape. There's no rips in any of the leather. It looks lightly used by man. It looks like it's been sitting for a very, very long time.
When we'd heard about the Corvette, we went ahead and packed our trailer full of our equipment, drove all the way from Cleveland to New Hampshire, unloaded all of our equipment into the shop, and now it's time to get our first impressions and get some background on the car from the owner. All right, so like Brent already mentioned, it's a 1962 C1 Corvette, which is freaking awesome. It's the first one that we've ever featured on the channel. We've done C3s, C4s, C5s?
No C5 yet.
Oh,
but
we
maybe
have.
one.
Never mind, I'll keep that, never mind, I will not mention that. Anyways, this is our first C1 Corvette. This is one of my favorite generations of Corvettes. I'm actually more partial to the C2s, but the C1 is a close second. I've worked on a few in the past when I ran my detailing business, but it looked a little different. They must have been a little bit older because there was a lot more chrome grating in the front grille that kind of dated the car a little bit, and I guess they were trying to make this car look a little bit more modern as chrome became less and less prevalent on the newer models. Yeah, first impression, this thing is really, really cool.
I actually didn't even realize that this was a C1 Vet because I'm so used to the older style headlight. Like the front end, I almost thought this was a C2, but then I remembered what you said, the split window, like it's a totally different car, has pop-up headlights.
So this one was a 1962 and 1963, which is my favorite car of all time, is the split window C2 Corvette, which I think is just a beautiful car. And they only did that for 1 year, 1963, which was the first year of the C2. Yeah. And then they made them, I think, through 1967, if I'm not mistaken.
So this is the last year, the facelifted model then.
Yeah.
So this is the end of it. It looks great. I actually really prefer this look, like with these headlights. I've seen them where these are usually all chromed out, and it kind of like brings a lot of presence to the front end of the car. From the condition of the paint, we can see that there was a lot of critters on this car. There's tons of little paw prints, and then all this darkened material is definitely droppings from probably mice.
Would you say those are raccoon paw prints down there, Mike?
Oh yeah, all this down here, this definitely looks like raccoons.
The one print's like perfect.
Yeah, dude, this is.
He must have stepped in like concrete and
dude,
then touched it.
He's going to jail, dude. He was printing his paw there. My first interaction with raccoons was when I actually stored my own car, and then when I came to pick it up a couple months later from storage, it had raccoon paw prints all over it, and it had scratches all in the paint, and I had to do up the whole car.
My first interaction with a raccoon was when I found a little baby on the side of the road, and then as I tried to put him back where I found him, I think I ran over his mother.
So this is another reason why I actually thought this was a C2 Corvette, was these taillights. Apparently, this is the last year of the C1, and they did these updated taillights, which look just like the ones that are on the C2 Corvette.
With the C2 Corvette, they changed the rear end a lot, and they kind of raised the trunk up and really kind of gave it more of a stance, a squatted stance, and made it look more like a muscle car versus kind of like a 50s cruiser. But this seems to be the missing link between that first generation and that second generation, where they started to take styling cues for the next generation, like these, you know, individual taillights and kind of revamp everything, which is crazy because I think this is the only year that they did all this styling for. So they did all that engineering, all that work just to change everything one more year later.
Yeah.
And this C1 Corvette is a convertible, but we're told that there's a hardtop for it somewhere in the storage facility. And we're gonna use the help of the owner himself, Chase, to locate it. How's it going, man?
Okay, pretty good. How are you?
Yeah, good, man, good. I mean, aside from our truck breaking down on the drive-in, life is good, and we made it nonetheless with all the equipment. So thanks for having us come out. I can't wait to work on this car.
I'm looking forward to it. You guys should be able to have a good time with this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're big Corvette guys. We just got done with the Corvette saga. So I guess we'll start with, how long has it been sitting? You said it was your family's. Who initially bought this car?
Yeah, so my grandfather bought this back in the 70s. Drove it quite a bit. And then my dad, when he got his license, he drove it around. I think the last time it was ever on the road was about when he got out of high school. So like 89. It was sitting in a barn for probably 20 to 25 years. And then when my grandfather passed, because he owned the car. It just got moved here and it was sitting here for probably like around 10 years. So.
Wow. Was this a car your dad learned to drive on?
Maybe. I don't know. They had quite a few cars like this. We've had a few Corvettes over the years. My family loves them, so yeah.
Cool. But he was probably driving this around in high school, and
yeah,
he was the cool kid in school.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Like I said, thank you so much for having us come out here. But I do know there's a hardtop somewhere in this storage facility. You mind showing us where it is?
So it's over here.
All right.
We've owned this property for around 100 years. Crazy to think about, but yeah, it was a hardware store, sawmill back in the old days, and then recently my dad, it's just my dad now, so he does like solo work, anywhere from building cabinets to all the way to screen repairs, glass repairs, any sort of project like that, woodworking. We just have this whole storage full of old cars, but yeah, looking to get the cars clean. The hard top's right here. I think my dad said him or his father never had this on the car, so it does fit, I'm pretty sure.
I think probably we'll wash it with the rag top on, then after the rag top dries, we'll be able to close it down and store it, and then put this on. It looks like it's going to be easier than the Supra's top, because Toyota doesn't know how to make a top to save their life.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for having us come out, Chase.
Yeah.
We have a lot of work to do, so we're going to get started on the Corvette, because there is another car in this garage that we would like to feature on the channel that I think everyone else will like as well. They'll probably start guessing in the comments, but I don't think they're ever going to guess.
I think they'll like it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. But we got some work to do, so let's get to it.
To get a better view of the interior, we're going to take this top, hopefully get it down without a hitch. RJ, if you could give me a hand.
So this comes up. Oh, and then it's like a Roadster.
Okay.
Oh, goodness.
Man, it's dirty. Something was having a good time over here.
If we wash this,
It's going to get gnarly.
it's going to be disgusting. It's going to be sludge in there. So
For sure.
let's grab our masks, safety first, and start vacuuming.
So like RJ said, we're going to start by vacuuming everything out of here so it doesn't get wet and make it a hassle for us later on. But I want to ask the question of the video, so leave your answers in the comments below. Out of all the Corvette models, what's your favorite model? We all like the C2 split window. I think that's one of the most popular ones. But what do you like best? Leave a comment. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, make sure you take a second and subscribe, because we have some really cool stuff coming up.
Down here with the wheels, we can see that we luckily have our big old center caps, which really remind me of the collector's edition caps from the 82 Corvette that we did. As you can see, they are in rough shape. So we need to get started and get these wheels cleaned up.
Now we're going to start pressure washing 30 years of dust and dirt off the Corvette, and if you guys enjoyed these videos, make sure you leave it a like because it really helps us out. Now we're not using Puro on the paint because it's single stage lacquer and any kind of degreaser will stain it. But on the chrome, what you see here, this is years of rat droppings. Imagine how long and how many mice it would take to leave that thick of a layer of droppings. Absolutely disgusting. But it shows how good Puro actually is, so if you guys want to try it out for yourselves, it's in the link in the description. Oh,
This is bad.
that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's big old rat nest right there, mouse nest.
Mike, I just noticed something. Maybe you can answer this. When do you think they stopped putting fire extinguishers in the back of these cars? I've never seen a fire extinguisher in a car.
Okay, there's no way. So there's no way that's original. Somebody put that in here.
You think so?
100%.
It looks like it was mounted well.
Listen, they just tacked this bad boy down there. I don't think this came in here. You know what? Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not a C1 Corvette expert. Who am I? You guys let us know. Did they put extinguishers in here?
Definitely a good question. The more I look at it, the more I think that was put in after the car was bought. But now we're going to take everything out of the trunk and vacuum it up and see what that spare looks like underneath that matte tube.
Okay, I'm about to pop the hood on this Corvette and get the first look at the engine bay.
Let's see what we got. Ooh.
Okay, so that's not stock. Got to be an aftermarket air cleaner, I believe.
What does it say on it?
More so. Comments will know. I think that's an aftermarket company. Looks to be in good shape besides, we had all issues with mice, man. They were running all over this place.
Yeah, it's super dirty on this side.
Got to get this thing vacuumed up. Let's talk about the engine in the Corvette because I have a question for our viewers. I know that these model Corvettes came with a 283 cubic inch motor. That's a 4.6 liter V8. But they came with either like around 230 horsepower or up to 315. So I'm wondering which one this is, and I don't really know. So if you do know just by looking at it, please drop that in the comments below. All right, Brent, I have a question for you.
Okay.
So I looked up a little bit about this car. Brent never looks up anything on the data sheet on this thing. But Brent, what do you think this 61 Corvette cost?
Oh gosh, in 61?
Yeah, 1961.
Probably like $15,000.
Dude, it's got a sports car, V8, manual transmission, drop top. Brand new base price of this car was $3,900.
What?
$3,900.
Okay, I would have never guessed that.
Isn't that incredible, dude?
I wonder what that is equivalent to now.
I don't know, but I don't think it's, I think what a new Corvette's like 75, 80 grand.
I wonder how these compared then to a Ferrari at the time or something like that.
Always Ferraris and Lamborghinis and those types of exotics were much more expensive than the American offerings like the Corvette. And at the time, the Corvette was really the only thing from the US that was competing like that, besides, you know, the Cobras that were a very similar style vehicle. I really think that this is just such a good deal back then, and I think even though they sold, I think they only sold like 11,000 this year, I think they could have sold many more. It's such a good car.
When we go to wash it now, is there anything we need to cover up specifically?
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this air cleaner off. I'll cover up the carburetor. We'll be vacuuming out everything. And that should be the only thing that we need to cover. We're not putting power to this car just because it's been sitting for so long and we don't want to damage it. It should be pretty straightforward for us.
We should see what's in there. You want to open it now?
Oh, there's nothing back here for sure.
You don't think anything got in there?
No way, dude. We've been doing this for quite a while now, Brent. Mice can't get through these guys for some reason. I bet you it looks pretty nice down there. Bang.
You're right. Wow.
Still pretty okay.
Look at the inside of that.
Stuck open a little bit, but that's all right. Look at this.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
Bang. But yeah, this would say Chevy on it somewhere, I would think, if it was the original part. I'm thinking this is even aftermarket. Look, this is Elbrock. Somebody probably was racing with this car or something back in the day. That's for sure. It's got a Hurst shifter. It's got this aftermarket. That's aftermarket. This might be aftermarket. I don't even know. Please let us know in the comments. I mean, there's a lot of old heads with Corvettes, and they know little pieces, parts way better than I'll ever know. Let us know what do you think's done to this thing.
Should we clean it now?
Yeah, let's get it cleaned up.
And now with everything rinsed down, we're gonna go ahead and clean the underbody with an undercarriage tool. Normally we would put it up on jack stands or on our lift at our shop, but because we're on the road, it's a little bit harder to do something like that. So this tool makes do while we're on the road. It definitely helps out for something like this and gets the job done.
All right, so while Mike is washing the Corvette, I figured it would be a good time to go over to my truck and inspect the bug massacre that happened as we drove all the way from Cleveland to New Hampshire to film this video. And I figured it would be an even better time to go ahead and let everyone know that if you have cars that are in conditions like this Corvette, that are enthusiast vehicles, classic cars, supercars, we would love to come out and make a video. We do all the work for free. We bring the shop to you or to a local shop nearby. We rent the space, we film the video, and then we bring the car back to you looking brand new. And again, it's all for free, but it has to be a dirty car and it has to have some kind of cachet. It has to be something cool. But we want to make the best detailing content in YouTube, and we'll even sacrifice the front of my truck to make it happen. So if you have a car that you'd like to see featured on our channel, email us or DM us at our Instagram or our email here. Let us know what you got, and maybe we'll come out and make a video. Now, the next step in the wash and decontamination process is iron removal. When a vehicle drives on the road, it picks up brake dust, rail dust, or other iron from the streets, and it gets embedded into the clear coat, or in this case, into the single stage lacquer paint, and it kind of ruts and it creates like these little orange dots on light colored vehicles. On this black vehicle, you're not gonna see them, but the process is simple. We spray iron remover all over the vehicle's paint, let it sit for a little bit, and then we'll use a clay mitt to kind of work it into the paint and break down that iron. Once we rinse off the car and it dries, we're left with bare paint for polishing, so we're not polishing contaminants into the paint as we try and remove all the scratches.
Now with the car all washed, we're gonna take a look at the interior, which, just a heads up, we filmed this before the car was actually washed, so it's a little out of order.
We're gonna try to get this top down in there. This moves way easier than it should.
I think it's been redone at some point.
Highly likely.
Because that moved much better than I'd ever expect.
Yeah.
And then this should just sit down, and I just want to see the finished product.
Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Nice.
I
Dude,
mean,
the Roadster look, it might be one of my favorites of all time.
get some wicked whiplash in this thing if you get an accident.
Oh
though.
yeah.
All right, with this top down, we could get a great look at this interior now. The first thing that sticks out at me is this steering wheel, which is almost purely vertical, and it looks like it's maybe belongs to a school bus, but I guess things were different back then. Another thing that I actually think is pretty cool is the speedometer on here, how it sweeps all the way to 160 miles an hour, which is ambitious for back then, I'll say. Not like the 82 Corvette that went up to 85. That was ridiculous. And you know what's really crazy? I'm just noticing this now. This thing has 11,282 miles on it only. We did not know that.
You think it's 100,000?
I don't think it's 100,000. There's no way. These seats are definitely original. This stuff's definitely original. I think the top was replaced, but the condition of this seat does not tell me 100,000 miles. This would be destroyed. this would be destroyed. There would be a lot more wear to this interior. Sure, it's really dirty, but this is gonna come right back to life as long as we do our part. So I think it really does have 11,000 miles on it. The rear view mirror just mounted straight to the dashboard. For some reason, I feel like that's very unsafe, but I don't know why. You know, visibility on something like that. I mean, with the top down, I guess it's perfect, but with the top up, I bet you can't see a darn thing out of this thing. But that's I don't know any other car that has that. I don't think we've ever done a car that had one mounted there. And you know what's weird about this? Okay, the crash bar is great, but you know what this reminds me of? People in the comments are gonna hate this. The Mustang we just did from the 90s had like a swell like that and it said Mustang in it. That's kind of like similar, you have to admit, but it looks a lot better on this car, I'll say that. So this was issued in 1987 and expires in 88, and it says at that time it had 10,985 miles. So this thing probably wasn't driven at all since I've been alive, probably not once. Lots of surprises here for us. We have tons of mice food. It looks like remnants of their home, and I did find a little guy that I'm gonna put out for us. Extra tiny guy.
Looks like he got left.
Yeah, he got left behind.
He got cooked too long.
Now what we're going to do is start cleaning up the interior by vacuuming all the floors up and pulling the carpets out of the car because they'll be a lot easier to clean when they're out. Now for the rest of the interior, we're going to do a lot of meticulous cleaning with all-purpose cleaner and brushes. And because there was mold sitting on a lot of this leather for a long time, once the detail's completely over, we'll put a conditioner on it to try to let it soak some of that up and bring it back to life again. For the seats, they were full, and I mean full, of anything that mice, chipmunks, whatever were in this car could fit underneath them. Mike and I picked up the seats and shook them out, trying to get everything out from underneath them for a good 5 minutes each, and stuff was just pouring out of them. So we got as much out as possible from below them, and then we cleaned them like we would normally clean any leather seats. Now I'm going to break the fourth wall with this carpet. This was probably one of the least favorite carpets that I've ever cleaned in my life for two reasons. One, it has foam on the back of it, so we can't use a pressure washer because it's going to get absolutely soaked and we don't want to do that. And two, it just held every single bit of sand or mice droppings or anything that was on this carpet for the last 30 years, and it did not want to give it up. I had to pick up the carpet, hold it against a wall, and blow it out a couple times. It did turn out pretty good, but still, it was not fun. Now we're going to quickly clean this jam cover piece so we can put all the carpet back in and reassemble the interior.
All right, so the Corvette is all washed and decontaminated. And like always, I'm gonna go ahead and look at the paint before I start polishing to see what I'm working with, but I kind of already know. So this is single stage lacquer paint. It's extremely, extremely soft. So if you come around by me, Brent, you'll see all of this staining. Some of this is probably from the soap, because we did use an alkaline soap to try and break up all that debris on top. Some of this might be from the iron remover, and some of it might just be from contaminated rain or water that was washed, mineral deposits, when the car was washed, however many years ago its last wash was. So what is bad about single stage lacquer paint is that it gets damaged really, really easily, stains really, really easily, and scratches really, really easily. But the caveat to that, the benefit of single stage lacquer paint, is it's very, very easy to polish. And I actually did a spot on the front of the car to do a little test just to see what I was working with. And this is just a very, very light polish, and it removed all that staining, all the oxidation, all the damage. But then if you even come closer, I just did this to kind of prove a point to Mike and Brent before we filmed this. I don't know if you guys see these scratches in here. This was completely nice, it was clean until I started wiping it with this towel. I'll show you guys how easily this paint was scratched. I'm gonna just use the back of my nail, extremely light pressure. That's nuts. That's super, super soft paint, and I would never do this on a car that I wasn't already working on, that I was already planning on polishing. I'll be able to remove those scratches, no problem. For everyone in the comments that's gonna yell at me for scratching a car on purpose, I'm just gonna show how easy it is to remove those scratches. So, foam pad, some finishing polish. And in order to make sure that when I wipe away the polish, I don't scratch the car any further, I'm gonna use this very, very high GSM microfiber towel. It's super plush. It will prevent scratching, hopefully. And there you go. All the scratches removed with a simple, light polish. Thankfully, even though this car looks really bad, it's not gonna be too difficult to polish. But I still have my work cut out for me, so I'm gonna get to it.
And to finish up the detail, we're going to do all the chrome, which turned out amazing. Dress the tires, throw the hardtop on for the first time ever, seal the car with the ceramic sealant, and we're good to go. Make sure you guys watch all the way till the end though, because we have the owner's reactions.
So we are back with the owners, Kelly and Reese. Reese is Chase's dad and Kelly is Chase's aunt. Vehicle's all done. We spent, I don't know, the better part of like 15 or 16 hours on it. And I'm really, really proud of the way it turned out. It's not perfect, but it's a lot better. So if you guys are ready, let's do the reveal. All right, well, on the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
How shiny it is.
That's not the same car.
Oh my god. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a single stage lacquer paint. So it's extremely soft and really prone to staining. So before that we actually did any of the polishing, it was basically gray with streak marks from, you know, probably years of storage. It was pretty rough, but thankfully it polished up really nice, and the interior, actually, I'd rather pull the whole top off. Now we can get a better look at the interior. It's a little dark in here, so I wanted you guys to get the full effect. It was pretty roached in there.
Wow.
Overall cleaned up nicely.
That looks great.
Yeah.
Does it look like you remember it back when you were driving it when you were younger?
I don't even know.
Probably.
It was never this clean. It was.
Cleaner.
I mean,
Yeah.
just the shine. I mean, I never pictured it shining like that.
Chase, you look surprised. Has it ever been clean in your
No.
entire life?
I've never seen it. It was always in a barn, infested with mice. This is incredible. I can't thank you guys enough.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you. And
thank
you for reaching
Yeah.
out to these guys, because
Yeah.
Kel and I really wouldn't know what the heck to do. So
Yeah, and we inherited this car, and you know, it's daunting to look at the condition and say, what are we going to do with this? So this makes it a lot easier. So thank you.
yeah,
The pleasure was all ours. Thank you guys for trusting us with you know, a family heirloom like this. Hopefully we did you know, your father, your grandfather proud, your father. Well, yeah, thank you guys so
Thank
much
you.
again for
Thank
the
you.
opportunity.
Yes. Thanks, RJ.
And we may have another vehicle that's located in this warehouse that we'll be filming, so stay tuned for that. If you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit subscribe. If you want this video to reach more people, hit like, and we will see you next week.